Alright guys, welcome to another episode of how to make easy character for your game using internet game assets and free stuff you find on the internet. Okay, so we have gone through a couple of steps already, grabbing base mesh from the internet, going through the process of modifying it with sculpting, adding the rig, doing some texturing, and now what I wanna show you is how to make some accessories to it, like clothing, hair, and that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna do a piece of clothing and a strand of hair, just so you can see how it works. Um, right now, this is where we left off on this kind of freaky looking face. Of course, it doesn't have eyes. You probably noticed that part doesn't have teeth or any of that. Um, but okay, let's just dive in there. So what I want to do first is I'm gonna add some eyes to this guy. Grab a cube, go into edit mode, Control E to subdivide, and I'm actually gonna, I should have done this a while back, but I really always forget that I have this, so I apologize if you have to kinda look through what I'm doing. There we go. So let's move this on the offset, kind of right there. You can see this right here. This is what I click. Hopefully that'll make it easier to know what I'm doing. Okay, so here I'm going to subdivide, right, and do, yeah, that's, oops. Okay, so I already had subdivided. Let's unsubdivide and do it again. Subdivide. There we go. You doing smoothness. So this is pretty cool. This is a way to make spheres, so you can see. But the thing about this way of making a sphere is that it stays all quads. It's all, squares. And you can make a very smooth sphere if you want. And it really stays all with quads. And that's super cool, especially when you're doing texturing, when you are UV unwrapping and whatnot. So I'm going to put this in 5. That's good enough. Smooth it out. Should be fine. Make it smaller. Oops. Oh, of course. So it seems I made this within my other character. There we go. Okay, so let's do this. Let's focus on you. I wanna bring my cursor to world origin. That's with Shift S, and you can move your cursor around. So let's go to world origin, and then move this guy selection to cursor, because I just want it to be there before I move it around. Let's put that there. Good. Make it a little bit smaller. Move it to the side. Make it a bit smaller there. And probably smaller. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on my X-ray, so just so I can see how big this eyeball is at this point. And might want to do some light sculpting. Do the grab tool here, and kind of want to pull this front a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so it's both sides. Yeah. All right. So I want to pull that up a little bit just because um the eye socket, it's odd whenever it's all the way out. But that's basically a preference of mine. No biggie. So if this is still in the center as I wanted, I could just do an auto mirror, and we'll have some googly looking eyes here. And we're gonna do some quick eyebrows as well. Grab these guys. I'm gonna select these and shift D to duplicate, hit the P key and selection, and I'll have this separate. Now what I'm gonna do, go into my edit mode, and move these guys around just so I can create an eyebrow. And I like to make parts from the mesh when it's after it's rigged, because then I don't have to be paying it, repainting weight on it and whatever. It will actually hold the weight. So that is one of the best parts of it. Let me turn this off. Okay, so now that I have my eyebrow, I want to use a modifier. It's called solidify. I'm gonna switch the offset, just pull it forward a little bit. Pull this forward a little bit. Yep, sounds about right. And we can even do subdivision surface and move it forward. Yeah, got that eyebrow there being all sexy and whatnot. Okay, so that's basically how I do quick eyebrows. Give it an angle, be a little bit hangry like that. Okay, so obviously we want to change that color. I'm gonna go into my UV editing and see where is this eyebrow part right here. There you go. So now that I have this, I'm just gonna move this to a corner down here where it's not supposed to bother anybody. I'm gonna go into my texturing, have this turned on, which will make only what I have selected be paintful. Change this to, oh, what's my bucket tool? Here, bucket. Change the bucket instead of gradient fill. Change this to pure back. There we go. Cool. Now, after having selected, I'm gonna Control A to apply. That's the apply menu. I'm gonna apply all transforms, and everything's gonna get broken. Yep, good to know. Okay, so that happens because I have modifiers, and when you have modifiers, they are working, having consideration where everything is located globally and locally. So we might want to apply these, and then it's gonna be fine after I apply, no problem. And then I can auto mirror, and we have some eyebrows there. Okay, let's do another one. Let's make a mustache. So select these faces right here. Again, I hold Control just to kind of click and select between faces, and I'm gonna duplicate, Shift D, P2, separate selection, go here and do solidify, offset, and let's do some nice thickness here, and make it like that. It's cool. And even thickness. So you play with this. This is something that I do just because sometimes I feel it looks better. Sometimes it might not even do anything, or it might break it. So just keep that in mind. If you use only rim, what happens is that the back face is not gonna be applied. You won't have a back face. So this is very good when you are doing clothing that is, it's gonna stay there, because then you can do some cleanup and the vertices are gonna merge exactly where they were with the skin of the character, and you save a little bit on vert count. So again, it's not necessary, but if you're looking to do low poly, then only rim helps you hide faces you are not going to use. Okay, so let's go here and do some subdivision surface. I think we can have a little bit more thickness there. Now you can even go here and kind of play with it. Let's do mirror. Oh, okay, mirror is not working, so just grab these two guys here. Yeah, feel like he needed some thickness. Okay, that's good. So now again we go to our UV editing. There we go. And let's make it tiny because we want it to be pure black. So there's literally no need to have a space for it unless you're gonna paint detail, you know, you're gonna make the hairs and all that stuff. But in this case, I'm not gonna do that, so it's alright. Okay, now let's work on doing some. Give it. So do we have the inside of the mouth? No. Okay, so I remember in the first video we did the inside of the mouth. I'm gonna do it again. So we have the inside of the mouth. I'm gonna show you how to do teeth and a tongue, so you can do some blend shapes for it. So you pull this and scale it on the Y, hit 0 to flatten it, and then I'm gonna extrude again, scale on the Z, extrude again, rotate a little bit, scale on the Z, go here. We're basically where we're making it to throat kind of passage. Just gonna make it here. I think last time I made it a little bit bigger, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just the space, depending on the character, you want to make it larger or smaller. It depends on your take on it. I'm like that, like it's more of what you want rather than what I prefer, right? Okay, so we have that kind of throw. Now you look inside of it, and it's like that. It's pretty cool. But we want it to be a little bit reddish, right? So I'm gonna select all these faces. Select that there. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna go UV editing and let's see where it is. Perfect. So everything's in there. What I want to do now is in texture paint, I'm gonna select this, fill. I'm gonna go into reddish. Maybe somewhere pink. It is okay. I'm gonna paint that. Good. So as you can see, this might happen. That's basically kind of because of the size of the image. So if you make an image larger, you'll have more pixels to play around with, and it'll be easier too. But in this case, it's not a big deal because when we go here, we can make use of this with this smudge tool. What we're gonna do is kind of smudge it out a bit here and use this as lip color. So again, not a big situation here. You can just reuse the color a little bit. And let's fix this here. Again, like if you're painting on a one side plane, it's gonna probably go to the other side. So that's what happened back here. Let's fix all with the smudge tool. Alright, cool stuff. So let's make some teeth. Again, using the same technique. We are going to grab what we have right here. I'm gonna Shift D, P to separate. Grab this guy, I'm gonna then select the edge, scale on the Z 0, flatten it out. Scale Z 0, I'm gonna flatten it out, and I'm gonna grab with G, pull it with the Y, put a little bit back there. And the thing is, I wanted to have that curve from the mouth. You see that curve there? This curve. So that's why I wanted to grab it from the lips itself. Now we switch to faces, select all faces, and actually we're not gonna extrude. What we're gonna do, we're gonna use solidify. Now, if we pull this, let's switch the offset. Now we get thickness for the teeth. They're red. They look super odd. But it's alright. Something cool when you're working. If you don't want to work with color, you can switch here, and this is where I mostly do all my modeling before texturing. And I um uh enable this. Sorry, it's called cavity. It just makes things look a lot better in this view. And something I want to do here is clear this. So it had normals attached to it, and sometimes when you have normals attached to it, the auto smooth doesn't work, and it looks all odd with the normals. So on geometry data, if you can clear it, you can just clear normals data, and it'll fix it up. Okay, so now we have our teeth set up. Let's move them back, move them up, and they'll be like right there. Now in edit mode, enable this. I'm gonna duplicate this, Control M on the Z, and it'll flip it. And now I can lower it, and we have the upper part and the lower part. Nice. All right, cool stuff. Now we have some teeth. Kind of smiling there, right? We kind of let's grab this guy and pull it down. Grab this one, and pull it down. Close the mouth a little bit so you can use them in the blend shape laters. Laters. Yeah. And make this a little bit flat there. All right. And then I'm gonna do the same with the lower ones. This is just being persnickety, to be honest. I don't need to do this. You can leave it open if you prefer, and do a blend shape that closes it, however you prefer. It's not a thing. That's just me being special. Yeah, that works. Has that kind of corny smile. Mustache, eyebrows, eyes, doing good. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna show you is how to do a strand of hair. The way I do them, there's a bunch of ways. There's a ton of ways, but I like this way. I think it's a bit simpler to deal with, and it just requires a little bit of cleaning up, but it's not a big deal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and grab the vert in edit mode. I'm gonna grab the vert where I want the strand of hair to start from. I'm gonna shift D to duplicate, P to separate. You'll have it here. This guy right here. If you don't want to lose it, you can name it hair strand. Alright, and I'm gonna go into edit mode, go into my perspective view here. I'm gonna start extruding the hair itself. Hair like that. Got nice long hair. And edit mode, I'm gonna use the skin modifier. Nice. So if I go into X-ray, I can see the verts. Outside X-ray, you can't see them, but inside X-ray you can see the verts. So I'm gonna select all. Control A to make this larger. So to me this is odd because I'm used to S to scale. In this case, it's Control A. I really don't know why, to be honest. So that's how it works. So Control A, that's how you make these um, get thicker. So Control A to make this smaller and just kind of make that curve of the hair. I think that's cool enough. So at this point, looks like a mohawk, and it's squarish. If you're going for a poly style look, you can just make a couple of these and they'll be all square. That's pretty cool. But in my poly style, I go with this subdivision surface, and here in the skin, I just select the smooth shading, and there we go. We got a nice strand of hair. To me, that's just super cool, very stylized, and it just looks nice. We can obviously let's apply this, and I'll show you what I mean by cleaning up, just so you get a lot more verts than you technically need, but you can clean a lot of them up. So you just select the edges and Control X to clean that up. For example, I would kind of get rid of a couple of these guys, do them in kind of checker style, and go here. Yep, and then I can just Control X and remove. So now it has less verts, still maintains somewhat um, the style, but it's not as smooth. And again, this will literally depend on what you're looking to do. Hair in the face, hands, and feet are what carry the most vertices in a model. So don't be surprised if you have a hairdo or hairstyle that just carries 5, 10, 15 K poly. That's normal. It happens. All right. So same here with the eyebrows. You can do some cleanup like that. And this guy, if we apply, we can do some cleanup as well here. I'm showing you this just so you understand that um, there's ways you can clean up your character, and you should clean up as much as you can. It's This model to me is not optimized at all. It's just unnecessarily um, built. And to be honest, I think this was built by an AI. This was not built by a human, or because it's just odd, like how things are set up. Is they're just weird. But I mean, it's a good enough character to just play around with. So now we have this hair thing, and we can go into our UV. Yep, I have this turned off. There we go. Our UV, hit U, unwrap it, and you just get squares. Super nice square. And since we just want it to be black, I'm just gonna move it down here to a little hair corner, and there we go. So like I said, one hair strand you can easily go into edit mode, or yeah, you can go to edit mode and just kind of duplicate this guy, rotate it a bit, make it smaller, and then you can start making hairs. Also, before you apply before you apply the modifiers and you still have the vertices and the edge, you can still duplicate them and then you can move them around. Okay, so last thing I'm gonna work on this tutorial today is making a shirt. So we have our how do you call those again? Seams. So we have our seams here. If I hit L and select my seams here, I'll be able to select just this part. And before I do any type of clothing, I do the seams as well. That way I can select the pieces. If I want to do, like, for example, just a shirt without sleeves, I select this. If I want it to be long sleeves, I select like that. If I want to do just the pants, I select this. And you have like this set of pieces that you can do use, and it's a lot easier. So now what I want to do is duplicate it, P to separate it. Mesh is called a long sleeve shirt. And what I'm gonna do with this shirt, I'm going to solidify it. Yes. Move the offset. Offset is because by default it's a negative, so it's gonna grow or give it thickness inside. If you offset it, it'll start giving thickness outside. Whereas if I move it in, it's gonna be giving thickness inside instead of outside. Okay, this is one of the cases that only rim is good. Go back here and you see clear custom split normals data. If you clear that up, it'll go back to being nice and solid. And just like that, you have like a long neck or turtleneck shirt. Super simple. That's and let me show you. If you have this character rig already, whatever you built like this, it'll maintain the rig data, so you won't have to rig the shirt again. It's already rigged, and that's one of the beauties of making clothing or assets from the base mesh you already rigged. So keep that in mind. Rig first before you make clothing and other all the other parts that you want to do. And it's super simple. In this case, we can. So if you want to, like, again, it will depend on how or your poly count limit that you want to deal with. This shirt has way too many polys in my opinion, but if you're okay with having a 50 60k poly count model, then you're good. No problem. Let's go here and let's make this shirt black as well. So I'm gonna take this, go like this. I'm gonna move my shirt all the way to the black area here. I have a black shirt right there. Nice. So we can give it a little bit of specular as well. There. Nice. Not too bad, right? Kind of cool because it looks like he's shaven. Okay, so again, same things. Same thing with the pants. Grab the pants, Shift D to duplicate, P to separate. Get this guy a solidify, flip the normals, only rim, do some thickness. It's good. And I think that's good to go. Probably gonna clear the custom normals. And you have some pants. These are skinny jeans. So something that I would probably do in this case is I would go into the base character itself, select these guys. I'm gonna P for to separate those parts, and select these and P and separate these parts. And so whenever I'm gonna use shirt, I'll just hide that part. And when I'm gonna use pants, I'm gonna hide the pants. And then I'll just have these pants here. And this is how you make modular characters. So I wanna give it some, pants, right? How you call it, like detail. And let's do some pulling here. Yeah, I'm gonna do some little pulling so it's not all symmetrical. This is using the sculpt tool just to give it some, you know, cloth feel to it. There's still some skinny pants, but it is not all skin tight. Okay, so now that it has that kind of feel, there's some tools here that allow you to give it some cloth feel as well. And to be honest, these kind of tools they need um, quite a lot of birds to be noticeable, but they do create some small details and feels, and when you do them enough, you get to notice how it gives it that cloth feel in the end. See how it's kind of given that. There we go. So it gives it that nice cloth style. Okay, so last thing is let's go to the UV pans, select them all. Let me turn this on. This allows me to see the front part of the solidify. And while my pants, make them small. Go down to my dark area, and we got dark pants. And there we go. And like seriously, same style, same technique for shoes, gloves, scarf, jacket, like you name it. You can really do anything that you want to do with the same technique. Okay, so you got any questions? Write comment. Let me know what you think. If you'd like me to do a tutorial on something specific, I'm always open to ideas, and I'll be doing more tutorials like this. I was told that you guys want to try to do or want me to teach you how to do my poly style, so I'll be doing a series on that. I have a Patreon as well. It'll be in the links in the description. If you want to have base mesh that I use for my polystyle character, consider becoming a Patreon. I post a lot of models there that you can use for your game or project, or even to study them and see and practice the style. And as well, I'll be posting the base meshes soon, and with a lot of content I'm giving away on a monthly basis. Alright guys, so like it, subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. I'll be posting a new tutorial on how to do polystyle very soon. Alright, cheers.